So it took me a long time to get to a version of this video that I'm okay with, and well, I mean, hopefully that's this one, I should say. And all I'm doing is I'm showing you, whoever's watching this. It's for specific people right now, but it'll come in handy. I'm showing you how to add an email address to a Gmail inbox. You may be more of an Outlook person, more of a Microsoft Windows um, type of user, and I don't think it's much different. I've done it on both, and it's fairly similar. If there's enough people who need me to, I'll do a walkthrough of Outlook as well, but this should help in either case. So this is my Gmail inbox. I'm on my Chromebook, so it might look a little different based on what you're looking at, and I haven't quite found a reasonable way to do it on a mobile phone in the same way. I know how to do something, but I don't know if it's exactly the same kind of thing. So you see how it is here. I have Night Owl Mail, David at freaksfiction.ca. I already had that set up, so I'm going to get rid of that. Actually, no, I'll keep that. So that's my inbox, and all of my email addresses filter in here. Anything I haven't read is what is at the top here from any email inbox. So I'll show you a few other things before I get into how to actually add an email address. And if maybe this isn't useful for everybody, but at least you'll know where I'm coming from, and it's not Chinese as I'm saying it. So first, I like to keep documents with important information. So stuff like this is for Freaks Fiction. So the email address I'm adding is david at freaksfiction.ca. And these are just the different email addresses, and I'll have login information and things in shared documents with my clients. So just to show you that it's a handy thing to do, and I keep this in the cloud on Google Drive. So it's just there, and I have it, and I can refer to it because I don't remember everything. And you'll see why, because these are my domains. I'm using some of them. I'm not using others. I may use them all at one point, but I bought them. And so this is a registrar. That's one other thing I wanted to explain, and not important to adding email addresses, but the info might be useful, and it is related. So you buy a domain from a registrar. I use Namecheap, but that's where you buy these domains. And a lot of registrars do have hosting services, but you don't have to host, and in most cases you won't host with the same company as the registrar that you bought it from. For instance, I use A2 hosting and Namecheap for my domains. So all my domains live at Namecheap, but I transfer the DNSs over. So let me show you. I can't actually show you Freaks Fiction because it's somewhere else. But I changed the DNS name servers, and I will show you that in just 2 seconds here. So this is my blog, davidpotts.xyz. And these are the DNS name servers. So I always have custom DNS, and sometimes it's pointing towards my host, and then when I build a website, it points towards my Cloudflare, what do you call it? CDN. It's a CDN. It's like it's for bouncing your website to the closest possible server based on who's viewing your website. It's a way of speeding up your website. That's way beyond what we're doing. But this is your registrar. I buy a domain, I change the DNS records here, the name servers, and then in your control panel, your hosting is always going to have a control panel, and it looks like this. Most of them look exactly like this. And I use it to install WordPress and to create email accounts and add on domains and stuff. So I'm going to go into email accounts here. And this is just to show you where all of this stuff is coming from. So document with all of the stuff that I need. This is the registrar where your domain is, and this is the host where you host your websites, and incidentally where I create email addresses. So Freaks Fiction doesn't have a website, but it is here. I put it here. I don't want to access the webmail. I put it here, and I created email addresses for us, because you can also do that. So just right here, the secure settings. This is your mail settings. So when I go to add an email address in Gmail, it's going to be using these things here. So I'm using port 465, and this is the mail server, mail.freaksfiction.ca. Your username is your email address, and your password is the password that you use to access your email. So here's what we have to do. We go into our Gmail inbox. Here is mine. So on a mobile device, your settings are found on this 3 lines here. You click that. Again, I don't have the exact way to do it, but here is the gear. You click on that and it's settings. We're going to accounts and import. And then you see 2 different sections here. You'll see send mail as and check email from other accounts. So in most cases, you want to both be able to send mail and check mail as your email addresses, right? Use your imagination. You can come up with reasons why you don't necessarily need to be able to send mail as a certain email address, but in most cases, and in this case, so we want to add it on both ends. We want to send mail as and receive mail as. So add another email address to the send mail as is our first step here. And we're doing david@freaksfiction.ca, right? So I'm going to leave my name as David Potts, obviously. And I'm going to put david@freaksfiction.ca. And next up. Every time my screen has to load or I change a tab, this circle here has to reload. Take that in. So remember, our server, so this isn't Chinese, it's not completely foreign, mail.freaksfiction.ca, as I pointed out before. Your username, as I said, is your email address. So in this case, it's david@freaksfiction.ca. My password is my password, which I won't tell you. And I've done both, and both seem to work fine, but I usually use SSL and 465. So everything is right. Mail.freaksfiction.ca, david@freaksfiction.ca, my password, secured connection, SSL 465, and we're adding it. So it's going to say that we need to check our email. So there's a confirmation code that was sent to that email address. So I can either click the link in the email or enter the code here. And so here's what we need to do. Obviously, until we can check emails in this Gmail account, we have to go back into our email settings here in the host in the client control panel. So find your email address and click Access Webmail. This is going to take a moment to queue up. And I don't know if this is an A2 thing, but these are the 3 webmail client options that they give you. I've been going with Roundcube. Squirrel Mail, it works as well. It's a little more simple, a little more raw, and I haven't really used Horde, so I'm sure all 3 of them are fine. I use Roundcube, and you'll see what Roundcube looks like. It's pretty basic compared to the mainstream emails that we're used to. So this is it, and I really only use it for these first stages. So I'm going to double click that. That's that email that they sent. And I normally just click the link, and then it'll bring us to another screen that we'll click to confirm. And we will confirm that. So, I mean, there are a small number of steps that you have to go through. But, so confirmation success, we're going to click out of there, because that's pretty much all we need. And if we go back in here, we'll see David at freaksfiction.ca. So we can get out of that because we clicked the link. David at freaksfiction.ca right here. Mail is sent through. So there we go. Check email from other accounts now. We're going to add an email account. And David at freaksfiction.ca. And next. And POP3 is just how I always do it. The only one I have is Gmailify. It's not even an option here. But the only other one I have is my Hotmail account. So I feel like you can only do that with the major providers. Gmail, Outlook, maybe Yahoo. I'm not sure. Anyway, POP3 is the way we do it. So next, you can learn more about Gmailify there too. So again, username, and I'll just click it this time. So David at Freaks Fiction. There is my password. That's the server. You can go through these and read them. Leave a copy of retrieved message on the server. No. Always use skirt. Sure. Label incoming messages. Yes, that's what we do. And let's double check that port. Actually, I just want to double check this. Better to be safe than sorry. So what I'm checking is this port here. So what we're doing is we're adding an email account to check email. So we're looking for the incoming secured port. So that's in here. Incoming secured port. I think we're looking for 995, to tell you the truth. So let's click on here. Yeah, 995. So I'm glad we checked that. So username is the email. Password is password. The POP server, yep. 995, yes. Add account. Okay. That window kind of left on its own, so I wasn't sure if it was going to work, but it did. So I mean, the process is, a little bit of a pain in the butt, I suppose you can say, but it's pretty straightforward once you have the information. So it's that information here that I referred back to. It's your DNS switch is important after you get the domain, and I just keep track in here. So that is it. And then when you get to your inbox, let me go back here to my inbox. Sorry about my Chromebook. It's not, it's a workhorse, but it's not the best computer in the world. There we go. There's an email saying I can send emails as David at Freaks Fiction, and emails in that email address will just show up here and will be labeled David at freaksfiction.ca, just like that one. So, and I can choose them down here as well. David at Freaks Fiction. It will only show me emails from that once it loads. So there you go. I mean, it's not the hardest thing in the world. Let me make this a bit bigger so I can look at you. Cool. Yeah, so not the hardest thing in the world. And I'll do a few more videos like this so people can learn things, because there are some cool things that can make life a lot easier as we're doing all of this stuff. So that's it for now. And I will see you next time with the Slack walkthrough, because Slack is sweetness. It is really, really cool. So I will see you soon, and I hope this helped. Thanks for watching.